Glory, hallelujah. It's a beautiful day to be in the land of the living. So, you living today?
Am I living today?
Yeah.
I'm living every day.
Well, do you feel like people live every day?
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't think so at all. I think if anything, yeah, no, people are not living
Mm.
a majority of their lives.
So, what's the difference between living and existing?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Living is going through life according to someone else's rules,
Mm.
not really knowing what happiness feels like or looks like, and just kind of showing up day to day because you have to, not because you want to. And then doing things to try to escape that,
Mm.
thinking that you're living when in reality you're getting closer to an early death,
Mm.
both physical, emotional, spiritual. That's existing.
Okay.
Living is when you wake up with so much gratitude, so much love and joy in your heart, and you ask the universe to show you how good it can really get,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's already amazing. Being grateful for the little things, being happy with the little things, and choosing to do the things that you want to do each and every single day.
Wow.
That's
You
the
got a
difference.
choice, huh?
You have a choice in both scenarios.
Alright, so existing and living. Are you existing, living, and are you thriving? 'Cause they all are a decision.
They're all choices, exactly.
They're all choice. How can you thrive without having the things that society says is necessary for survival or living?
You have to redefine what that means for yourself, because keyword what society says, there are a lot of things that people do in society that are counterintuitive.
Mm.
So when you begin to tap into your own intuition, you start to question all of those things and you become curious, and you start to realize that we've been doing things backwards this whole time. So when you start to question that, and when you become curious, and when you start to open up your intuition, you start to redefine what thriving looks like for you as an individual soul, as an individual being, because it's different for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Thriving for me could be living off grid near the water, eating food from my own land, where thriving for someone else could be, corporate CEO, and they get to wake up every day and manage a team, and both are thriving. It's just maybe that's not something that I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
because I could do that.
That's it.
I could do both. I could do either one. Is that my choice? Maybe, maybe not. So you have to first redefine what thriving looks like for you. Forget everything that you were programmed to believe, and then start going within and figuring yourself out.
Mm. I think Kai's about to take us to church. She's taking us to church. She said, "What's your why? Question what you've been told. Does it resonate with your spirit, your heart, and your mind?" And you use the word counterintuitive.
Yeah.
So I think I know where we're going.
I think I know where we're going too.
What's some things in life that we've done, but we know something ain't right? Something ain't right.
Man, let me go through my brain really quickly and pull out the list. Okay, so I think earlier we were talking a lot about how a lot of things we do are counterintuitive to our digestion. And that is something that's really important to me, especially as I'm studying nutrition, and I'm realizing a lot of dis-ease stems from lack of digestion or poor digestion. So some things just off the top of my head that we can get into are, the way people eat, how often people eat, what are you eating, where are you getting your food from. Fast food is actually food that takes the longest to digest because of all of the things that they put in it, the chemicals and such. Are you living a sedentary lifestyle? when you go to the bathroom, are you squatting? Like, these are all types of questions that we have to begin to become curious about, because this is the very thing, especially when it comes to digestion, that's keeping people in a state of fogginess and being able to easily be controlled, because they're not digesting properly, so they can't think straight. So I mentioned the squatting. One of the things that's counterintuitive to me is like toilets are 90 degrees, but in anatomy and biology and just nutrition in general, you learn that like the human body is meant to be squatting when we go to the restroom. And so what happens when you aren't using the bathroom properly for many years, you begin to build up feces and that sort of thing in your colon. And what is one of the number one killers of black men? It's usually colon cancer or something like that. There's colon cancer and those sort of things, and a lot of that is a result of not being able to use the bathroom properly. So that's like one thing. I mentioned fast foods. I mentioned processed foods. Beyond digestion, there are a lot of things that we do that were designed to keep us stagnant, right? So you have things like sleeping on a pillow. Although it may bring you comfort, it's actually realigning your body. And I find that after not sleeping on a pillow for maybe about a year or two now, I have proper alignment. Like my back feels a lot better. I wake up more energized. You don't deal with all of the forever chemicals that they put into things such as pillows. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, why would you put something on your face that you rest your head on every single night that has forever chemicals in it just to keep it fresh for 2-3 weeks?
No.
A lot of people don't realize that, you should be washing your pillow or changing your pillow more often than you probably are. And so that contributes to a lot of issues that people are experiencing as well with their hormones. And these forever chemicals are causing hormone disruptions in a lot of people. And then they wonder why their thyroid is, they have hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. And they wonder why their hormones are fluctuating all over the place. There are a lot of things that are hidden in plain sight and hidden in society that we do that are literally going against our natural nature.
Are there any things that you grew up on that you watched change or quote unquote evolve that has actually became more detrimental to our health?
Yeah, technology. Like the amount of accessibility that people have to one another in itself is unhealthy, I think. But also what is in this technology that we're wearing on our bodies is literally adding more toxins into our body and in our environment. The more technology we bring into our home, the more it requires Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi is just EMFs. So all of these signals that are coming into your home are also going into your body. It's disrupting your circadian rhythm. It's disrupting your endocrine system as well. So I think technology has gotten better, but also significantly worse over time. And that's not even going into what it's doing to children. When children are addicted to their iPads, they're addicted to their parents' phones, they're addicted to the TV, and it's all been designed that way to keep their attention. So there's so many things with technology. It's been super beneficial. What it's doing to the attention span of children and our bodies is just, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know when it will end, but it's only gotten worse since I was younger until now, and that's only been a couple years in the grand scheme of things.
So we went from dial-up broadband, 3G to 5G.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, in your opinion, what radiation or EMF actually is?
We have to look up the exact acronym, but EMF, electromagnetic field or frequencies, electromagnetic frequencies, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. We can.
Hey there, how can I help you today? Let me know what's on your mind.
What are EMFs?
EMFs stand for electromagnetic fields. They're
Okay,
basically
electromagnetic
invisible areas
fields.
of energy that come from electrical devices and power lines. They can be both natural, like the Earth's magnetic field, and man-made, like from cell phones, Wi-Fi routers, and microwaves. Let me know if you're...
In my current studies, I've been really curious about EMFs and their effect on the human body, specifically on our hormones and our reproductive systems. I think a lot of people underestimate what all of this technology in your home is actually doing to your body. It's frying a lot of your glands, it's frying a lot of your organs. And we'll have to pull up some studies so that it can be backed, with proof. But the thing is that these EMF rays are literally in every single device that we have. And now people are wearing these devices on their bodies at all times. So they're constantly tapped into these artificial frequencies that are disrupting the natural frequencies, such as what you receive when you go outside and you ground. So you can be in the dirt. You can literally have your feet in the grass. But if you're wearing an Apple Watch, that can automatically disrupt the frequencies that you're receiving from the earth. We were never meant to be tapped into technology, and it's getting to a point where people are ready to insert certain things within their body, so it's going to throw off their entire natural frequency. So that's just, that's my opinion on what EMFs are doing to us and how they're affecting us. And they're literally in everything. Like, even your fridge is emitting EMFs, right? It's receiving a Wi-Fi signal. When you go and touch your fridge, these are for smart fridges, right? Everything needs to be smart. Everything needs to have, it's called the Internet of Things. Everything needs to be tapped into the Internet of Things so that you can control it from your couch. It's not only creating more of these electromagnetic fields inside of your home, it's also making you lazier. It's making you more reliant on technology. And eventually, one day, it'll be a point where, this is just my own, thoughts. It's going to get to a point where now they're going to ration off what we are capable of doing in our own homes. Or, it's already being done where they're able to tap into certain people's homes and dictate what the children are watching, or dictate what you're watching so that you go and purchase this thing. It's so deep. So I would say technology is just something. It's manifesting in a beautiful way if you know what's being done and you know how to use it as a tool. But a lot of people are just allowing it to use them and not realizing what it's doing.
That's a good point. When you mention it's disrupting our organs and its natural flow by shifting the frequency within our bodies, it made me think about what are some protective measures that we can have around the home. Like, I believe shungite is a crystal that can be around. Do you know any other methods that we could use?
Well, the crystal one, the specific crystal that you mentioned is news to me, but I do know that there are some crystals that can help. Some practices like turning off your Wi-Fi box at night. I know some people that may not be possible because, maybe your security camera is running off your Wi-Fi system, whatever the case is. But I would say making sure that your Wi-Fi is in a space where there aren't people dwelling all day long. So maybe a closet somewhere, or tucked away, maybe in the part of the living room that not many people are using. But the closer that you are to this Wi-Fi box for an extended period of time, the more of those signals that you're receiving. So that's one thing, is just making sure that that Wi-Fi receiver is tucked away somewhere. And bonus points if you can turn it off at night while you're sleeping. And what are some other practices? I like to use blue light therapy, as well as making sure that all my screens have some sort of blue light protection.
That means changing the temperature.
Or adding a filtered layer over it, so a screen protector that's specifically for blue light, because I notice a significant difference in my migraines. I used to have really bad migraines because I worked on a computer all day. And when I added blue light protection, you can also add it in your glasses. You can add it on your screen protector, your computer, whatever the case is. When I added that, the migraines went away significantly. Like I didn't have any more migraines. There are options to change the temperature on your phone. Like you can go into night mode and that sort of thing. So that helps with your eyes and receiving these waves that keep you in beta, like we talked about the other day. Some other practices are just limiting your screen time. It's that simple. I think when you're not on your phone, you are reducing the amount of beta waves that you are experiencing throughout the day. So it makes it easier for you to go into theta when the time comes. It makes it easier for you to go into a meditative state when it's necessary. And it makes it easier for you to sleep at night. So I think the more we limit our screen time, the more we can begin to look around and find other things to do, like go outside, go in the garden, go for a run, draw, paint, sing, dance, you know? So limit your screen time. Those are all like just quick practical things you can do. I would love to get more into like the metaphysical aspects of what we can bring into the home, like crystals and that sort of thing. It's a really interesting concept to me.
Okay, so it's kind of as if our desire for entertainment has taken away what we will call boredom, and out of boredom there's curiosity for us to actually get out and choose
Exactly.
something different.
That curiosity is where the intuition comes in. So when you see kids play, they are very intuitive. They're very tapped in, especially kids that are not, quote unquote iPad kids. They're going to figure something out. They're going to find a way. They're going to manifest into their reality what they imagined up here. So, for example, if, a little girl is like, she doesn't have her iPad or she doesn't have iPad time, she's not on the screen or whatever, she's disconnected. She's like, I want to have a tea party. So what is she going to go? She's going to go have a tea party.
That's it.
And in her world, that is reality. That is real. She just manifested that and created it. She was curious too. So I think when you eliminate the screen time, even as adults, that inner child will come out and play and find things that keep the imagination flowing, and then allowing for you to be more intuitive because you're tapped into that side, that aspect of yourself. Yeah.
I like that. Tapped in sync with basically meditation and action and flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, so counterintuitive, we got on the flow of technology. We spoke about things that have been given to us where we haven't questioned, such as mattresses and pillows and toilets. Trying to see where my mind is going.
I don't think we fully touched on the mattress thing.
Okay.
So for many years, I had my mattress on the floor. And it wasn't because I didn't have or want or couldn't afford a bed frame. It's just that I had this intuitive feeling that it just felt more natural to be closer to the ground. And if it were up to me, I would sleep outside in the grass because that is the ultimate form of recharging. If you slept outside, like I said, with a copper wire attached to you, you would wake up the next day potentially with all of your cells renewed. It's an experiment that I'm willing to try, but I feel as though being closer to the ground is really where we belong. And so I had my mattress on the floor for many years intuitively. Come to find out, in many cultures, they actually don't even have mattresses. They have, very thin futons, and they also spend a lot of their time in squatting position or low to the ground. And in the long run, what this actually is doing is it's keeping the body flexible. So when you are in later life, later years, this is where you find a lot of people can't even squat. They can't even bend because all they know is the bed, getting, throwing their feet over the bed and standing straight up. They don't have to do any hip work. They don't have to go from the ground up. So this is where a lot of people come into hip issues and they're very stiff. This is arthritis. This is all of those things that are related to not moving the body and also not being grounded. So I think mattresses and having your bed at a 90-degree angle, same thing with the toilet at a 90-degree angle, it removes a lot of mobility that we are naturally capable of. And so this is why movement is really important. Yoga is really important. Being able to stretch your body in ways that are unnatural to modern day society, and going back to how it once was. We didn't have chairs.
Yeah.
I mean, like, chairs are probably 100 years old, right? So maybe a little bit older, but still, chairs are fairly new in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, it just, none of it really makes sense when you really start to sit down and question it.
I like when you speak on being lower to the ground is our availability to be grounded. And it makes me think about the evolution of shoes. And I remember, like, growing up in the country, my father, they built their shoes and they were very minimum soles. And now people look like they're walking around with space boots. Literally because the soles are so thick.
Yeah.
And as a martial artist, we always knew that having a light sole will allow us to feel the ground, which will help with our balance, help with our speed, help with our everything. So being disconnected as a human being with these thick soles and shoes, what do you feel like would happen if someone decided to walk barefoot?
Over time, what would begin to happen is they'd probably start to see that any ailments that they may have had will just start to fall away. Because when you're walking on the earth and you're receiving those frequencies from the ground, it goes through your body and it does something. It replenishes your cells. So this is why grounding is so important. It brings in to your body what is essentially missing. And I think food and herbs do the same thing. Plant foods from the earth do the same thing. So it's just a way of the earth giving your body what it needs. When you add a sole to the bottom of your feet, that rubber is basically repelling those frequencies. So what would happen if you remove the sole from your feet? You would really start to tap into your soul.
No.
I think it's very funny that they use that word soul for the bottom of your feet, and it goes back to etymology as well. So they are saying that they know that you have a soul at the bottom of your feet. Your foot is what connects you in many ways to the world around you. So people are literally walking as disconnected souls.
Wow. I've heard in Chinese medicine that the foots have all of the nerve endings for all of the organs that are in our bodies.
Yes.
So it makes me think about walking around barefoot and those having pressure points and being stimulated,
Exactly.
activated. It makes me also bounce back to, like, how you said we sit in chairs and then we're 90 degrees on a bed, yet we wear shoes like steel toe boots and things that are not as organic and walk on cement floors and one as a civilization while we're having knee replacements and hip replacements from all of that impact and pressure going back up into the joints that haven't been stretched and moved. So it's all coming full circle as we're speaking about it.
Right. And I think it gets so much deeper than that too. It just, all of it has been designed to keep people disconnected from the truth. Like, you're actually a superhuman, and it's been proven time and time again. Just watch your movies that you're watching. The movies that you love to sit and watch, pay close attention, because they're not fiction, they're fact. So we are superhumans, we're capable of so much, and the system only really works if you believe that you're separate other than these superheroes that we grew up watching.
Wow. It kind of makes me want to take a deep dive on that. Like when you said we're superhuman. What? Ooh, telekinesis.
Yes.
The ability to move things without touching. You mentioned the other day yogis who are able to levitate.
Yeah.
What are some other things that, through your studies or publications, that you know that we're capable of as humans?
Well, as you know, like telepathy, we're able to communicate with other beings. I don't believe that it's through voice alone. So I'm not going to sit next to you and be like, oh, this is what he's saying in his head. I think that telepathy has a lot to do with emotions and feelings. So when we have when we carry a certain emotion in our auric field and we walk around, people who are tapped in, they can sense your aura. They can sense the emotions that you're carrying into that space. And so telepathy to me is being able to read someone's aura field, their emotions, and understand what it is they need, how to communicate with them, and the words just happen to come out as they do.
Yeah.
So to me, and it may be a signal that you're sending to them because you're matching their frequency and their vibration. You're able to tap into their field. So telepathy is when you're so tapped into your own frequency that you're able to address and analyze someone else's frequency and communicate with them through frequencies. I know it sounds very elusive, but when you get to a certain point in your own journey, you will understand exactly what that feels like because you're so tapped into yourself, and anyone that comes into your field, you know something is off immediately or something is being elevated. You perk up, your body perks up, your hairs on your skin perk up before you do because it knows. Yeah. It's receiving that frequency of someone else. That's what you're feeling. So telepathy is one thing when you that we're capable of doing, but a lot of people don't know how to read their own emotions. So how can you read someone else's? How can you accurately or intuitively read someone else's field? What else? What are some other superhuman capabilities? There's so many, like teleportation, being able to move through matter, because we believe we're so dense when in reality we're like vibrating just super fast. And I think there has been a lot of programming to make us believe that we are solid. But like in the movies, you can move through matter. Matter can move through you. So that's one thing. Time travel, just being able to lucid dream and go from time period to time period. That's something that can happen in the Delta state. And that's been proven by the CIA in their experiments that lucid dreaming is a real thing, and through lucid dreaming you can do things like telepathy, like astral traveling, going into the future, going into the past, etc.
We started this off with the misconception of digestion, nutrition, and one misconception that I've learned that I'd like to know more about from you is that, or found out about, was we've been given that we're supposed to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
So 3 times a day. What are your thoughts on that?
It's bogus. Especially the standard American diet, which a lot of us grew up on because we went to public schools or we grew up in America. That whole notion of breakfast, lunch, and dinner was also designed to keep people sluggish, to keep people in control, to keep people basically in this cycle, right? Because breakfast in America, breakfast in a lot of places is usually the heaviest meal. And unless you're going to work in construction or, doing something very laborious, that just sits all day, right? And then you have lunch, and then you pack on more on top of that, and then you go home, and maybe you go to the gym, maybe you work out for 30 minutes or so, and then you have dinner. So when has there been any time for elimination? When has there been any time for your body to have a break? You have dinner and then you go to bed and then you wake up and do it again the next day. I think elimination is forgotten, and a lot of people don't detox enough. So all of that stuff literally just sits there all day long. You can do mini detoxes throughout your day, throughout your life, by intermittent fasting, or only eating when you're actually hungry, not because you have been told it's time to eat, it's breakfast time, so let's eat. All of these, if you look into studies that have been done in psychology, all of this is programmed, like how when dogs see dog food or when they smell food, their mouth starts drooling. That's essentially the same concept of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So
You see
when
the yellow and red of McDonald's.
exactly. And then you see things like McDonald's and you see, double sausage patty with cheese in between and eggs. And like, if you took all this stuff to the lab, you would literally see how bad it is for you. All of it. Even the stuff, even when you make it at home. I never really used to be a breakfast person, but traveling the world and going to different countries, I see how everyone does breakfast differently. And I've been able to choose what resonates the most for me. And that's typically something really light. First of all, I don't even like to break my fasts before a certain time because I don't even get hungry anymore, right? So this goes into the whole intermittent fasting where, because a lot of people don't take breaks from digestion, intermittent fasting is a really great way to do that. And no, you don't have to eat breakfast every single day. You're not going to die. Like, you can go through life. You'll actually have more brain power, more energy, and higher frequency going throughout your rising without eating anything. Or if you do want to eat something, having some fruits or like a tea. I like to do matcha because it's not only anti-inflammatory, it's also something that, it has a little bit of caffeine in it, not too much. And it's also going to make me go to the bathroom. It's going to help me eliminate everything from the day before that may have just been sitting there. Yeah. And so some people are fortunate to have movements in the morning, but a lot of people don't realize, like, the first thing you're supposed to do when you wake up is go to the toilet. Number one, number two, because that's an indication that your body was doing everything it needed to do. But some people don't. And then they go on and eat breakfast on top of that. And then now their body is forced to have this movement because there's just so much in there. So I think the whole notion of breakfast, lunch, and dinner is obviously another programming tactic to keep people subdued. And
Okay. I got to add up there, one of America's favorite is coffee, which is something that was not originally here.
Yeah.
And coffee is a dehydrator on top of, like you said, eating the biscuits and pancakes that are flour and paste based that get inside of our system without any moisture or fiber or anything to move it around, because we're not really eating vegetables in the AM.
No, not at all.
So being sedentary, not moving, everything's just there. And I had someone tell me that they will have one bowel movement a week.
Wow.
And they've been that way for years.
Wow.
And it wasn't until they started eating or consuming sea moss that they were able to become regular. So the availability to have minerals and nutrients in whatever you're eating.
Hydration is important. Yeah, fiber, all of it, very important.
Counterintuitive has been the subject. We've been told everything that are on the menus, everything that, I just had a burst of anger inside of my body when I thought about the food pyramid.
Oh, yeah.
At the top of it is what, dairy?
Typically, it'll be some sort of dairy and protein. I don't even want to get into that because...
So protein, amino acids.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that one right now. But in my studies, we have about 4 different my plates, we call them, or food pyramids that we use, because every industry has to have their own. You have the CDC and then you have the FDA. They all have their own food pyramid. And out of all of them, I would say they have dairy and protein on there, but their protein consists of, so, but we can get into that in another
On
time.
the next episode, we coming to make you mad. We ain't holding back.
Yeah.
All y'all bodybuilders, we're gonna ruffle some feathers.
Yeah.
Always an honor and thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for this information. Thank you for our time. We hope, pray, wish that this information that you're receiving resonates with your heart, spirit, and your mind so that you can implement to be a better you.